You're telling me a Jurassic movie with no legacy baggage, a killer new cast, and Gareth Edwards behind the camera might struggle to open big? Yeah, no. This thing's going to crush. Let's talk about why. So, Variety just dropped their box office forecast for Jurassic World Rebirth, and I've got to say, it's a rare moment where I'm not here to argue. In fact, I think they're playing it safe. They're projecting a $100 million to $125 million 5-day opening over the 4th of July weekend. And honestly, that feels like the floor. This movie should clear $100 million without breaking a sweat easily. Now, I've seen some people online, Game Rant included, raising concerns about the early reviews. They're calling them mixed and wondering if that might hurt the film's momentum. But here's the thing. Mixed reviews didn't hurt Fallen Kingdom. They definitely didn't hurt Dominion. And these movies weren't just divisive, they were actively disliked. Fallen Kingdom had a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. Dominion, a brutal 29%. And yet, both opened north of $145 million and crossed the $1 billion mark globally. So if we're using history as a guide, mixed reviews aren't a death sentence for this franchise. If anything, they're par for the course. Let's talk about why Rebirth is different. First, the numbers. The original Jurassic World in 2015 opened to a staggering $208.8 million. That was a cultural event. Fallen Kingdom followed in 2018 with $148 million, and Dominion, despite being the cinematic equivalent of a fossilized mosquito in amber, still managed $145 million. That's the baseline. That's what this franchise does, even when it's running on fumes. But Rebirth isn't Dominion. It's not even Fallen Kingdom. This is a clean slate. It's not a continuation of the previous trilogy. It's not dragging legacy characters back into the fold. It's not trying to tie up loose ends from a bloated mythology. It's a brand new story with a brand new cast and a brand new tone. You've got Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, actors who bring credibility and charisma. You've got David Koepp back on the script, the guy who wrote the original Jurassic Park and The Lost World. That's a signal to fans that this is a return to form, and most importantly, you've got Gareth Edwards directing. Let's talk about Edwards. This guy understands scale. Monsters from 2010 was made on a shoestring budget, and he did the visual effects himself, and it still felt massive. 2014's Godzilla brought back that sense of awe and dread, and Rogue One, that's arguably the best Star Wars film since the original trilogy. Yes, Tony Gilroy handled the reshoots, but the bones of that film, the tone, the visual language, that was Edwards. He knows how to make spectacle feel intimate. That's exactly what this franchise needs. And the story? It's not about a theme park. It's not about dinosaurs in suburbia. It's a biotech thriller The plot centers on a mission to extract DNA from 3 colossal species to develop a life-saving drug. That's Jurassic Park meets the Constant Gardener. It's grounded, it's high stakes, and it's different. That's what's going to bring people back. Now, let's talk about the mutated dinosaur subplot, because this is where things get wild. Rebirth introduces the Distortus Rex, or D-Rex. A grotesque hybrid that looks like a T-Rex crossed with a xenomorph and a rancor. It's got 6 limbs, a massive misshapen head, and a quadrupedal gait that makes it feel more like a monster than an animal. And then there are the Mutadons, winged raptor hybrids that are basically aerial death machines. These aren't just dinosaurs anymore. These are nightmares engineered in a lab. And while some critics have said the movie doesn't use them enough, the designs alone have already lit up social media. These creatures are going to sell toys, light up TikTok, and keep the franchise fresh for a new generation. And speaking of reactions, early screenings have already happened, and the buzz is surprisingly strong. Some fans are calling it the best Jurassic film since the original. Others are praising the visuals, the tension, and the performances, especially Johansson and Bailey. Sure, there are detractors who say it's a little uneven or that the plot feels like a studio checklist, but that's nothing new. What matters is that audiences are walking out entertained. And in a franchise like this, That's the currency that counts. And let's not forget the timing. Rebirth opens on a Wednesday, giving it a 5-day runway over the July 4th holiday. That's prime real estate. Universal has owned this weekend post-COVID. F9 in 2021 did $70 million. Minions Rise of Gru in 2022 did $123 million. Despicable Me 4 just pulled in $122.6 million last year. Rebirth is tracking similarly, and it's got the added benefit of being the only major tentpole that weekend. F1 is in its second frame and losing premium screens. Rebirth is going to dominate IMAX, Dolby, 4DX, you name it. And here's the thing about audience psychology. The Jurassic brand still means something. Dinosaurs are cinematic catnip. They're primal, they're family friendly, they're rare. You don't get this kind of spectacle outside of this franchise. And the marketing has been smart. The trailers emphasize suspense and scale, not callbacks. The tone feels closer to Spielberg's original than anything we've seen since 1993. And early tracking shows strong interest among adults over 25, a demo that's been harder to pull into theaters post-pandemic. So yeah, I'm not here to dunk on Variety's projection. I'm here to say they're playing it safe. Jurassic World Rebirth is going to clear $100 million, easily. And if word of mouth is even halfway decent, it could push toward $130 million by the end of the 5-day stretch. This is the rare reboot that actually feels like a rebirth, and audiences are ready. Let me know what you think. Are you planning to see Rebirth this weekend? Do you think it has a shot at matching the original trilogy's highs? Drop your thoughts in the comments.